Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Kelly. Welcome to Be in the Change. I'm going to get started by reciting my inspiration. Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, which most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Marianne Williamson. I'd like to say welcome to everybody who's watching me for the first time, and welcome back, and thank you to everybody who's been watching me and helping me continue on this journey. I started in 2019 saying I broke up with fear, I broke up with shame, and I broke up with guilt. And I reported to you guys every week that it wasn't breaking up with me. And I was just sharing my experience with it and how it keeps presenting itself in my life. And it is a daily practice, and I am inviting all of you to practice with me. Last week was talking about all that is going on in the world and what a difficult time this is. And it's been a difficult time for me. Today I'm having just not a great day. I started off my day great with a girlfriend, and we got to catch up, and it was so nice. And, it's so funny. I am being triggered, and I don't know if you guys know what the word trigger is, but just like things are bothering me that I thought I was long past and over. I was talking to my friend today about something that happened to me like in 2012, and it's 2020, and when I was telling her, I started to cry about it. And I was telling the same story to somebody else last week, and I started to cry about it. And I really had no idea that was still there. So I'm doing a lot of grieving right now, and I'll share with you guys what this story was. This story was, I was a people pleaser. I wanted people to like me so much that I never wanted to rock the boat. And I said this in videos before, but I was supposed to be getting a new car. And in the process of getting a new car, I was allowed to pick out something that I wanted within a certain budget. And I went to the car dealership and I test drove this car. And then I had this horrible feeling in the middle of the night. It was a Hyundai Veloster, and it was hard to open. It had 3 doors, and my ex-husband said at the time, it's really hard for people to get in the back seat of the car. And when he said that to me, I thought, what kind of person gets a car that's difficult for people to get into the back seat? Meanwhile, nobody rides in my back seat, but I woke up in the middle of the night with this shame attack. Like, selfish people get cars that are hard for people to get into the back seat. So this was all of my issues coming out. This was part of my shame. And I called the car dealer the next day and said, I can't get that car. Like, I was feeling like I was selfish, and my worst fear was being a selfish person. And I didn't want to be selfish, and I didn't want to get a car that was hard for other people who don't get in the back seat to get in the back seat. So he made a remark, you're wasting everybody's time. And that just spiraled me down into, I don't want to waste people's time. What kind of person wastes people's time? Like, this is horrible. So I felt guilty. I felt like I owed the car dealership that I was being a pain, and I went and signed for a car that I didn't even want, that I didn't even test drive, and I was about to throw up when I was signing the papers. And even the guy said to me, "You don't even seem happy." And I wasn't. I was like sick, but I felt like I owed people. I felt like I was wasting people's time. I felt like I was being a pain in the ass. So I signed for a car that I didn't even want. And that's how bad my people pleasing and worrying about what other people thought of me was taking me. And I woke up in the middle of the night that night and said, I can't drive this car. Like every time I get in this car, I'm going to be reminded that I can't stand up for myself. And I don't need a reminder because I already know. And so anyway, I signed a paper that I couldn't return the car. The car was returned, and I have a different car now. But my extent of my people pleasing and getting people to like me, and my fear was so big and so horrible that it consumed me, and it made me physically sick. And I did things that I didn't want to do. And I said things that I didn't want to say. I agreed to things that weren't good for me, and it physically came out in my body. And what I've had to do is do a lot of deep emotional work. And I thought this was over, and I was done with all of this. And it came up last week, and it came up this morning. And I cried over it twice. So I have things coming out of me that I didn't know was still in there. So I imagine I'm not the only one going through this, but that's how shame and that's how my fear showed up in my life. And I'm working on this, and it's taken me a lifetime to be able to do this. And, you know, I'm getting better at it. And I'm talking about it out loud because, you know, I think people should know. I always wanted people to know what was normal. I always wanted to know what was normal. And that used to be my normal, but it is not my normal anymore. And thank you to everybody who's watching me. I'm trying to like be uplifting during this pandemic. And today I'm not feeling it. I got 2 prank phone calls, and I was like pissed off. So not prank phone calls, but like scam calls. But I at least know they're scams now. And before, I would have believed the people. So I'm doing better. So thanks to everybody who's watching. Please stay tuned, and I will see you all next week. Stay safe.